Hi, it's Eileen with Bega, and while I'm still here at the beautiful Gaston Park, hanging out by the pond, I thought that I would talk a little bit about a fella I worked with named Rufus. Rufus was a country fellow. He loved, to hunt, to fish, all that kind of stuff. Anytime he wasn't working, which I don't remember what he did, but he was always out there, out in the woods, out on a pond, doing some fishing, something like that. Well, Rufus got a little bit older and he got forgetful. And despite being older, he really didn't like the idea of following any kind of old people rules. He thought, I've been hunting all these years, I've been fishing all these years, so what if I'm old? It's what I still want to do. And even though his family gave some efforts to corral him a little bit in the efforts of being safe, it didn't work too good. And eventually they decided, Dad is Dad, this is what's important to him, and we're gonna kind of keep an eye on him and let him go. So one day, Rufus wanted to go fishing. So he packed up all his stuff and he's hauling all his stuff down there to set up next to the pond, kind of a beautiful pond like this. See? So he's sitting over there on the bank and he goes to throw his line in, and what does he do? He swings it out there, boom, goes down, cracks his hip. Eventually somebody comes to check on him. There's poor Rufus laying on the ground. They bring him into the hospital. He has a broken hip. He goes to rehab. I'm evaluating him. His family is beside themselves with guilt. Now Rufus, he's not upset by them at all. He's like, well, this is what I wanted to do. It happened, so what? So the feeling I got talking to this family is, if you take Rufus and you lock him in the house and you put on the TV, is he still going to be Rufus? There's a thing called dignity of risk. And what that means is to live a life of dignity, one needs to be allowed to take risks. So that even though something might not be totally safe and it might be somewhat risky, to live your life fullest, you have to be able to do that. Kind of like when we let our teenagers drive. I don't know about you guys, but I have 4 of them, 4 kids, and every time they got behind the wheel, I didn't like it. I didn't want them to do it. I wanted to keep them safe because something could happen to them. But in order for them to live a full life, a life of dignity and fullness, they need to be able to take that risk. So I had to let them do it. And I think this whole concept applies a lot to our elders. It's true that they're getting sometimes when the time comes, there are some dementia factors. They may be weaker, but there has to be a judgment about what is their life worth if you just bubble wrap them and keep them home. So I have to say, Rufus went all through rehab and he got better, and with a big discussion on his family, they said, Dad is Dad. He likes to fish. If he doesn't fish, if he doesn't go out in the woods, his life is not worth living. So they upped the security measures a little bit, but they let him go fishing, and they were, in my opinion, very respectful to who Rufus really is. And I hope that when my time comes and I'm getting a little fuzzy, I hope my kids will make that same decision for me. Another phrase is that safety is the last refuge of the oppressor. And a lot of times that's what it seems like to them, that safety is a jail. As a person who teaches safety and condones safety and pushes safety, it's just a little, sometimes it's uncomfortable to think about that, but It's a scale thing. Uh, weights and measures how much safety to give up your life. What is each one worth? Okay? If you might have full safety and you're not going to get hurt, but then what is your life? But you can't have no safety and a free-for-all. So, dignity of risk, just like parents with their teenagers, like our elders were for us when we were starting, those are the things that we have to think about for them. So, anyway, wherever Rufus is right now, I hope he's having a good time hunting and fishing, and I'm never going to forget him. Thank you for listening.